Hey guys, Man here for another late night deck profile. As you can see from the title, this is my first version of the new adventure deck. Me and my friend actually drove out like 2 hours. Shout out to my friend Steven for being the navigator. We basically ended up going to a locals that we usually frequent, or we used to frequent back in the day when Digimon was in like BT 3 and 4, around that set, like 4, 5, 6 essentially. Um, Mainly it's because our area did not get a single one of the new starter decks, so we ended up having to drive 2 hours away. It was totally worth it because not only that, we also got a box of BT-21, so I will be looking at some of the decks from there and the improvements to other decks, specifically the hero decks like Hunters and Armor Rush and all the other cool stuff. But mainly the first one I will be focusing on, trying to fix and make it really good is the adventure deck, because of this deck basically being a fusion of both hunters and royal knights mixed together, along with a lot of really good evo decks and a lot of really good ace stuff. So this deck is actually really strong. I'm honestly predicting that this deck might be top of tier 2, bottom of tier 1, because it has a lot of potential, especially because it is based on the season 1 of Adventure, that potentially this deck will be getting more support later on, along with the fact that with BT-21, there's a lot of really cool improvements you can do with it. Currently, I do not have the BT-21 stuff. My friend Steven bought a bunch, so we will be including it into our decks to kind of fix it, but this is like my first version of it without the BT-21 support, essentially. And it's a really good deck even without it, like with just the minimum amount of stuff, like just the starter deck and maybe like one card from a previous set. This deck is already really viable and very, honestly, very cheap, because to build this deck, all you honestly really need is like two of each starter deck. So essentially, it's going to cost you $60 to build this deck, or at least maybe like $61, including the tamer that I run to basically do to set my memory to 3. So really cool. But yeah, let me show you what I mean. So for the eggs, we're running 4. Really cool. When I went to the locals that I'm talking about, shout out to Center Stage Games for that. Really cool. The fact that they had a lot of Digimon sleeves, some especially ones that I've been trying to get for the longest time. I got the adventure ones, so obviously this being the adventure deck, I have to do it. But for the eggs, we are running 4 of the Sunomon eggs. This one's really cool because on deletion, you get to return one Digimon card with the adventure trait from your trash to the hand, and it is really solid. The fact that usually you can just swing in with a rookie and then you just get to grab back a piece that they just checked in security is really crucial, because if they check a level 4 or a level 5 that you've been looking for, you could potentially remove their board in the process. That's it for the eggs. For the rookies, we kind of run a certain amount. We run a bunch of the ones from the deck itself. Obviously, because this being an adventure deck, we run 4 Biomons because Biomon is our searcher. Biomon is actually really broken because I did not actually play this card properly in the starter deck tournament. The cool thing is that all of the rookies in this deck can Digivolve on top of this egg for no cost and ignoring color. And on play, you get to reveal the top 3 cards, and you get to add one Digimon card with adventure and one such tamer and or option. So this searches literally everything in the deck. So you need this card. It is insane. And not only that, is that if you Digivolve up, this will be giving plus 2,000. So along with the fact that almost every single level 5 gives alliance, you're basically boosting up to at least 19 or 20,000 depending. So it's really insane. You have to run 4 of this. Biomon is crucial. Then we run 2 of the Palmons. Mainly, this is our secondary searcher because we can use it to discard a card that we don't need in our hand to get 2. And of course, at all turns, it gives plus 1,000. Then we have 2 Gomamons because all turns your opponent can't gain memory except by tamer effects. So this does stop memory boosts, which is really crucial nowadays. Then for the last rookie, we run 2 of the Gabumon. Gabumon is really cool because if you leave it out and they don't kill it, you can potentially warp up into a Metal Guru Ace if they go into a level 6. So you go, oh, sorry, did I just bounce your guy because I have so many tamers? That's on you. And then its inherit is actually pretty cool at the same time. But at the same time, the thing is, you have to have 3 colors to fulfill that requirement, and you can only do it on your turn, sadly. But you do it for a cost of 4, kind of like all the rookies from like the previous starter decks. So he does have a caveat, so you have to be very careful how you use him. As you can see, we're running exactly 10 rookies. You don't honestly need that many rookies because your main goal in this deck is to essentially play out your tamers and reduce a lot of your level 4s and 5s to basically do on-play effects and or evolve and leave out a guy that can potentially be aced on top of. So the rookies, you don't absolutely need it, but you have the 4 BOs and the 2 Palmons for searching. We have the Gomas to stop stuff, and we have the Gabu for the rush, or for just checking security, like poking security, and of course warping up into Metaguru if you have enough memory, so it's really cool. Then for level 4s, we run 4 of the new Bergermon. Bergermon's really cool because it gives, we're mainly running 4 because it gives the plus 2,000. And of course, on play when digivolving, if you have more than 3 colors with the Tamers, you basically get to evolve into a level 5 for free. So really cool, like very crucial, so you have to run 4 copies. That's also another reason why I'm running 4 copies of Togemon, because Togemon does the exact same thing, except that it has an all turns, you get plus 1,000, just like the Palmon. Then we run, for the last one, we have 2 Kabuterimon. This is just mainly there if you already have 1 Tamer and you can play a secondary Tamer. You can basically get a second one out, and of course it is the one level 4 that gives piercing, so really crucial. That's all for level 4s we run. As you can see, we only run 9, but the ones that we do run are really powerful and can do a lot of things for us. For level 5s, we run very specific ones because after playing it in a tournament, I decided to modify it, and it actually worked way better with these improvements. We run 3 Lilymons because Lilymon is one of the best level 5s in this deck because you get to suspend a Digimon, basically suspend all of your opponent's 5,000 DP or lower Digimon, and then for every 2 color Digimon tamers you have, you get to return a suspended Digimon. So if you have already 3, you're returning 3. If you have 4, you return 4. And if they happen to suspend their whole board, like what green does, hey, there goes half their board. And of course, your turn once per turn. This is a universal effect that almost every single level 5 in this deck has. Your turn when your other Digimon are played or Digivolve, if any of them have the adventure trait, they gain Alliance for the turn and then they can attack. Also, the fact is that Lilymon does give Alliance by default with her Inherit, which is really cool. Then we run 3 Mega Kabuteri because he is the second best level 5 in the deck because on play or when digivolving, one of your other Digimon unsuspends. So if you manage to digivolve this for free or up into it for free, you get to unsuspend the guy that you just allianced with, and then you get to do alliance again and swing and do another 2 or 3 checks. And of course, for every 2 colors, you get to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So in conjunction with the Kabuteri, you can essentially punch through them and do more damage. And of course, his your turn is also the same. Where if Digimon are played or Digivolve into the adventure trait, it gains Alliance, and you get to basically attack with that Digimon, and of course, Alliance with its Inherit. Then for another level 5, we run 2 Garudamon. Garudamon is mainly there to Digivolve and give an extra security, so you can be checking for 3, and it gives an extra plus 2,000, which is really crucial. You can potentially play out level 4, evolve for free into this, give it the plus 2,000, and that's just enough to punch over their guy, essentially, alongside Alliance. And of course, it's your turn once per turn, giving Alliance to another Digimon when it is played or Digivolve, and of course, Alliance for its Inherit. Then we play 1 Magna Angemon. This guy only comes in clutch in certain situations. You can essentially send them to the security and essentially make it so that you check into them and you know exactly how big they are thanks to how it works. And of course, it's your turn with the Alliance and the Alliance, so same thing. Then we run 1 Angelwoman. This one is really slept on. She is really cool because on player when Digivolving, you just force another Digimon to Digivolve up. So if it's a level 5, you get to evolve into the Ace for free. So really cool. But you can only Digivolve into Digimon with the Adventure trait, so you have to have something with Adventure. So most likely it's just mainly to go into your Ace. So pretty cool. And then it has the same your turn and Inherit. So yeah, as you can see, we run 6. We run 10 level 5s, so it is kind of top heavy with the level 5s, but it's actually not that bad because you can reduce them down just like how it is with like Royal Knights, as long as you have the Tamers out. So these are actually very easy to summon. For level 6s, we only run 2. We run 3 of the new Wargreymon Ace. This guy is insane, and you have to run at least 3 copies of him. He is there to essentially protect your board, especially if you have a lot of tamers out. You can just make your entire board immune for the turn. But yeah, so you can Digivolve on top of a level 5 of Adventure with Hero Trait for a cost of 3. And of course, it has Blast Evo. So, of course, on play when Digivolving, until your opponent's turn ends, for every 2 colors your tamers have, their Digimon effects don't affect one of your Digimon. And then when Digivolving and when attacking, you get to delete one of your opponent's lowest DP Digimon. So if they only have one guy on board, that guy's dead. And they can't do anything about it, which is really cool. And of course, the fact that he's really strong, especially if you boost him with Alliance, he can potentially go up to 19 or 20,000 if you need it, and he can punch over a lot of things, especially with Garuda and the inherits of all these guys. You can potentially just swing over almost everything. Then we run 2 of the Metal Garuru Ace. This guy is also a really good ace. So when on play and when Digivolving, you get to return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to the bottom of the deck. For every 2 colors, you get to add a level to this. So it starts at level 4, but with 2 tamers, you're already hitting a level 6. With 3, you can bounce a level 7 if you want to. But that's not really where you use this card for. You mainly use it for its when attacking once per turn. You get to play something level 4 or lower. If you have the new Matt TK purple yellow tamer, all of your level 5 or lower Digimon essentially gain Rush as long as they have the Adventure trait. So everything in your deck can gain Rush upon the moment that you have that tamer out. It just gives a blanket effect, so even your little rookies can rush for game, which is really cool. So it turns everything into a rush guy. So you need at least 2 copies of this just so you can go into it. We don't run really any level 7s, but the ones that I can recommend would be Omni X and Omni Ace, because they basically finish out the game, especially after you Alliance. You can swing, do a bunch of checks, and then evolve and pass turn and still swing for game, because at the same time you're also bottom decking one of their guys, so it's very strong. For options, we only run specifically 2 because they are specifically Adventure trait, but they basically are the best way to sum up these cards for anybody that's played against Royal Knight or plays Royal Knight. This card is basically your last Guardian, because it lets you it basically lets you recover but also summon out another thing, which is really strong. With this, you can basically play out a level 5 or lower. Let me just read the effects so that way you guys can get an idea. So this card basically, on play, you get to draw 2. Pretty good. That's already not bad. Then all turns, when any of your level 5 or higher, so when any of your level 5 or higher Digimon would leave the battle area, so basically anything here or the ace, you get to play 1 level 5 or lower Digimon card with the Adventure trait from your hand without paying the cost. So if you save a Lilymon in hand and you have 3 tamers, their board's gone, and if they just tried the ace using like Metal Guru or some other ace, it's gone too. So if they don't have the protection, they basically get board wiped, which is really cool. You have to run 4 copies of this because essentially, as I said, it's like your last Guardian. It protects all your level 5s and higher. So you basically get to be like, okay, do it, because you know my hand, I'm going to have another level 5 to suspend you, or to suspend you, to bottom deck you, to increase power, to put into security, to force something on my board to digivolve, so everything possibly. Then we run 2 copies of Believe in Our Friendship. This is our memory booster, but it does also search. So you get to look at the top 3 cards, and you get to add 1 card with the Adventure trait among them to your hands. So this actually can hit your options as well. So it can hit Courage, which is really cool. So you have to run at least 2 of this. It's a very good card. That's basically all for the options. We only run those 2 options. For Tamers, we run 10. So we run 3 of the Joe and Mimi's, because main phase, if you have a Digimon, you gain a memory, and of course, all of them have the universal effect of your turn when you would play a card with Adventure trait, you get to reduce it by suspending this. Then we run 2 of the Matt and TK because it gives Rush. Your turn, all of your level 5 or higher Digimon gain Rush. So if you manage to summon, do free Evos into those level 5s, they're all going to be able to Rush. So very strong. Then we have 2 of the Tai and Izzy's. Basically, this of course lets us do the reduction, but opponent's turn, all of your Digimon with Adventure trait gain blocker by default. So basically, all your rookies, all your low 5s, they're all blockers by default, thanks to this. Then we run one of the Sora and Kari because, of course, it gives us a memory at the start of our main phase if we have a Digimon, and then, of course, the reduction. And then the last two tamers we run currently would be these two ties because they do set our memory. And, of course, when you would block, you get to, or redirect any attack, you basically get to draw one. For those that do not want to shell out the money for a secret rare tie, this is probably the best one. The only downside is that it cannot be searched by a lot of things, so you have to draw it off of the Courage United card. So that means you running by running 4, you do have a higher chance of seeing this. I've seen this almost every game, and I usually just play it out because it is a black source, and in conjunction with one of these dual tamers, you already have 3 colors, which fulfills the requirements of a lot of the cards already, specifically Togemon and Birdramon. So you can already basically do your plays with just this and one tamer. So it's pretty cool. As I mentioned, this is my first version of the deck. It's really strong though, and it does a lot of cool things. As I mentioned, this deck basically plays like hunters for the first like 3-4 turns, or even less, like the first 2 turns, and then after that you just basically just play it like Royal Knights, and you just start playing stuff out, and they get really cool effects off it. You can bottom deck them, you can suspend them, you can remove them into security, you can force your guys to digivolve, you can make your guys immune, you can bounce their stuff. There's so many ways to remove. There's even ways to DP minus if you run the Angemon or the Gatomon, because you can also do security minuses with one of them. So really cool. Like, you have so many ways of removal. The only thing that this deck is missing, honestly, is specifically the Digivolving, but I'm assuming later on they will be giving us support to do that anyway, so we'll see. But for now, the deck feels really solid. Really, just really powerful. You could bump the Rush one a little bit higher, but at the same time, it only affects level 5s, so it's really common to see this tamer anyway, so it's not that big of an issue to be running it at 2. With all these, it feels really solid. And as I mentioned, for a level 7, I highly recommend just running a Omni X, because most of the time you will be swinging with like Metal Garuru, and you have this to summon out a Rush, and then you just go, oh, I'm going to swing again, check your last security, and then Digivolve into Omni X, and you basically win the game at that point. So it's really strong. It's honestly not bad. It's pretty solid. And as you can see, I keep both of the Angels because one lets me do some removal, which is really good. To fit in the Omni X, I would highly recommend most likely taking out one Garuda, because Garuda is good, but it's only like you're already kind of doing a lot of checks anyway, so you don't always need the effect of it. So probably the best way is to just put an Omni X to replace that. Aside from that, as I mentioned, you could do Omni Ace, but the problem is that if you were to Jogress together with this, you're basically going to be eating a minus, was it 8 plus, yeah, you're basically eating a -9 overflow. So at that point, you might as well just give him the game. So it's not really a good idea to do that. It's better to just go into the Omni X and just finish the game. But yeah, really solid. But yeah, I just wanted to put out this deck profile so you guys can kind of get a general sense of this deck. It's a really cool deck, and I really want people to try it out. So I say, if you see it at your locals, your local card shop, or at a Target or a Walmart or wherever, even also GameStop, they are selling it too. Just check those places, and if they have it, I highly recommend grabbing 2 of each, or at least 1 of each. That way you can build the deck semi-functional at least. With just those 2, you should be able to at least get a general sense of this, because in each set you should be getting at least 4, or at least 4 of each rookie, and 4 of specifically these guys. So you should have enough to essentially build the deck regardless. So pretty good. Aside from that, yeah, as usual, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.